Hello everyone. Today I am going to be explaining to you how to make one of my favorite recipes. It's honey lime sriracha chicken. Um, Today's instructions will consist of a small tutorial of making this recipe, the ingredients required as well as the cooking equipment that is required. There is step-by-step instructions, and then I do have a few side ideas to also pair with this meal. So first of all, the equipment needed is either a stove or an oven. I typically like a stove better. It's a little bit quicker. It is a little more hands-on. You will need to stand by it for the majority of the time. If using a stove, you would need a skillet. If using an oven, then you would need a cookie sheet and foil to put the chicken on. You will also need a spatula. Either way, if you're using an oven or a skillet, you'll need a spatula to turn the chicken on the skillet, and then it'd be a good idea to have a spatula to get the chicken off of the cookie sheets when it is done cooking. Um, You'll need a mixing bowl and a spoon, and this is really for mixing the actual sauce that we're going to pour on the chicken. You'll need at least one plate, depending on how many people are going to eat. And then you'll need a cooking thermometer just to make sure the chicken is cooked all the way through. Okay, so the materials needed, the chicken breast or chicken tenders. I personally like chicken breast better for this specific meal. I like tenders whenever I'm going to cut them up and put them in a salad or something of that nature. You'll need some olive oil, and this is to put on the skillet before you put the chicken on there so that it minimizes the sticking. And then you would also need the olive oil to put on the cookie sheet for the same idea of it not sticking. Um, you can really use however much lime you want. I usually use about half a lime. You don't need too much, just a little bit to offset the sweetness of it. You'll need the 1/4 of a cup of honey, about 5 garlic cloves, about 2 tablespoons of sriracha sauce, and that's actually located on the bottom right corner of this PowerPoint, just a picture of that sriracha sauce. 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, some onion powder, some chives for topping, and feel free to add in any more seasonings that you may think would go great with this. Definitely onion powder is not the only thing that you can pair with this to make it a great meal. So the step-by-step directions, to mix a sauce, you're just going to chop up the garlic, add it to the bowl, and then you're going to add all of the ingredients, the honey, sriracha, soy sauce, red wine vinegar, and lime juice. Just mix it until it looks even. It works a lot better if you can marinate this for at least a couple of hours before you put it on the skillet or in the oven. I like to do it for about a day. The chicken really soaks up the marinade and it makes it so much more flavorful. Before you pour any of this on the chicken, save a little bit for the end. I like to pour a little bit on the end, or I'm sorry, on the chicken at the end, right before I eat it. And then for the chicken, when you have everything prepared, go ahead and turn up the stove to medium high. Add some olive oil to the pan, and then place the marinated chicken on the skillet. If using an oven, go ahead and use some olive oil or some nonstick spray and put that on the cookie sheet before you put the chicken on. Then you're going to cook this in the oven for about 15 minutes on 350 degrees temperature or until the chicken is cooked through. Again, this is where the thermometer comes into play. You're going to want to cook the chicken to 165 degrees Fahrenheit to ensure that it is fully cooked. And then step 2 is if you're using a stove, you're gonna cover the pan and cook the chicken for approximately 12 minutes or until it's cooked through. If you don't have a cooking thermometer, you can take the lid off of the pan after that 12 minutes and kind of just use a knife to cut through the chicken and make sure that it is, cooked through and you don't see any pink in it. That will suffice as well. Once the chicken is finished, go ahead and move it to a bowl or a plate. And then go ahead and pour the sauce that you had set aside before you cooked it, and use that and put it over the chicken. And then you can garnish with chives on the top, as well as some fresh lime juice. And then, like I said, if you have any other ideas in terms of what would go great on top of the chicken, then go ahead and, add that in. It has unlimited possibilities in terms of what would go great with this meal. In the conclusion, I'm just kind of want to sum up what we just talked about. You can use a stove or an oven. Just make sure you use that olive oil. Make sure that you do verify the chicken is cooked thoroughly so that there's no risk of any kind of salmonella or anything like that you could contract from the chicken. Just make sure there is no pink in it. I've listed a couple of sides that will go great with this meal. Garlic toast is one of them. Cornbread is also a great alternative to garlic toast. I actually like to pair a salad with it. I'm just a salad freak. Any variety of vegetables that you can think of, green beans, corn, anything like that. And then I also like to make this mixture. It's quinoa and black beans. Quinoa is a grain. It's a member of the rice family. It has a lot of protein in it, and that's one reason that I like to pair it with this meal. I'm also a protein and a carb freak. Those are just a couple of the ideas that I have for you guys, and that sums up my PowerPoint. Thank you guys.